Hi guys, this is Tiger Shroff.
Hi guys, this is Monisha Mahajan.
I am Arjun Rampal.
Hi, this is Lara Datta.
If you're looking for the hottest hits, you're in the right direction.
Right here on Radio 44.
Your music, your life.
Hear the hits. Watch the hits.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
In the fast lane to good vibes and great tunes.
Hits from all over the world.
Let's go. This is Cruise Control with Isha on Radio 44.
Hello. You're with me, Isha, on Radio 44, 100.8 FM. And we are kicking off our Friday show with a lovely interview. She's going to be with us in a few minutes, and her name is Monisha Mahajan. So she is in studios with us, and you're going to have to wait to find out what exactly she's going to be talking about right here at Radio 44, 100.8 FM. And that is Akriti Kakkar and Shahid Malia with Iski Uski, playing for you on Radio 44, 100.8 FM. Now in studios, I have a beautiful lady here with me. Her name is Monisha Mahajan. Monisha, welcome to the Radio 44 studios. How are you feeling being in Kenya?
Lovely, like always. Thank you for having me over, but then it's the beautiful weather which makes you smile all the time.
And Monisha, now people are wondering, what is she here to talk about? What are you here for? And tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a bit of a background.
Okay, so Isha, I have been here earlier. I think it was the other people who were hosting me then. But then I'll give you a brief background what I do. I have been working for non-resident Indians, or let's say the Indian diaspora across the globe, helping them resolve their issues back home in India without them having to be in India themselves. So that's how, and it's been 20 years of helping people understanding what issues they really have, because it's not, I'm a lawyer by profession, because,
Wow.
Right, and I run this law firm called Legal Help NRI. But the idea here of my work is not what I've learned over a period of time, is not just court representation. It is representation of my client in all aspects, in before the families and settlements, and making a beautiful strategy so that we can get this resolved for them. It's not about just taking them to court or making, endless litigation for them.
Yeah.
So that's what I do, helping people, assisting people in getting their issues resolved.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, many NRIs need non-impediment certificates when getting married abroad, right? Could you explain what this certificate is, why is it so important, and how Legal Help NRI helps the diaspora obtain it without any complications?
Okay, so non-impediment certificate is something which is a thing which has really come up now in Nairobi, where the marriage is getting registered. Civil marriage has to be registered, and the Gurdwara or the Mandir certificate doesn't work any longer. What a person requires a non-impediment certificate is to get the marriage registered, and this certificate is obtained from India. So it has to be apostilled in India, and then with all the documents, all the information in there. And thankfully, we've been very successful in getting it done for the last 2 years. Like initially I wouldn't deny, right? I didn't really understand, because it was not something that... when they told us that they require non-impediment certificates, and being the legal person, I told them we'll have to go to the court, get it done. Till I really realized that it was a way simpler form to get it concluded. And now, yes, in the last 2 years, we've been happily and successfully getting it done for people, and we get the good heads up and testimonials from clients for getting it done.
Nothing is ever easy when it comes to legalities, be it Kenya or India. But the fact that Legal Help NRI does it with such ease is honestly very inspirational. Now, most people know that an OCI is very useful for visa-free travel to India. I personally struggle a lot because I don't have an OCI. And I could get one because I do have family in India, but me being a 4th generation Kenyan, having an OCI would be very useful for visa-free travel, especially in my field of work, right? But does an OCI have any other significance beyond just the visa privileges? Like, what are any additional benefits or rights that an OCI provides?
Boom, a question, right? And then everybody who's here on listening to this show. An OCI is just not a visa. It's not like a document which shows or gives you a visa to travel, a lifelong visa to travel. What OCI does for you, it gives you an identity of you being a person of Indian origin.
Okay.
So now people let's say you're the fourth generation, right? And your father or your grandfather has accounts in India or has something to do with India, and eventually you are going to sort it out.
Yeah.
For which you will have to set up an account there.
Okay.
And when we set up an account there or something like that needs to happen, I need your proof to that of an Indian origin. The only document works then is OCI.
Wow.
Or if anybody who's wanting to buy a property, especially in places like Maharashtra, Goa, or any other such places, OCI is imperative.
That's amazing. So I actually didn't know this about an OCI. So when it comes to banking, taxation, or repatriating funds from India to abroad, does having an OCI actually make a difference? And can you explain how critical it is in these financial and property matters?
I'm sure a lot of people who are my clients and who are listening to the show, they would know, because for setting their bank accounts up has been a biggest hurdle for them because of the absence of an OCI.
Okay.
And also, if you understand, some people can establish that they are Indians by origin, but the surnames are different, or there is a spell issue in their names and everything. So OCI is a document which is a clear document of your identity or of a person of Indian origin. Now, when you're setting up bank accounts, this is the document which comes handy, because if you're repatriating any funds from India, you need an NRO account, you need an NRE account, and only then can the funds be repatriated. Selling a property, you need an Indian account, an NRO account, which is a rupee account.
Yeah.
Can be set up in your country also, but then again, for that, an OCI
Is necessary.
Or your passport should have your birthplace as India.
Okay, wow. So the more I know, the more we all know, right? So we're going to be talking more about Legal Help NRI in the coming hour. So stick around for that. In the meantime, I do have Monisha's request, which is Jalsa by Satinder Sartaaj.
Hear the hits, watch the hits, hit music all day.
Like this. We play the hits.
All about the hits. All about the hits. All about the hits. All about the hits. We are Radio 44.
And that is Neha Kakkar, Guru Randhawa, Tanishq Bagchi and Punjabi MC with Morni Banke, playing for you on Radio 44 100.8 FM. Now, speaking of Morni Banke, I have a very beautiful lady in studio with me. I have Monisha Mahajan, NRI expert. Legal Help NRI is here with us in studios, actually. The person behind Legal Help NRI, who, according to me, is absolutely inspirational in the way she's speaking. I actually told her that she has a very buttery voice and I could listen to it all day, and I'm sure you would love to listen to it as well. So Monisha, welcome back again to Radio 44.
Thank you.
Now, if someone in Nairobi prepares a will here, right, how valid is that will in India? Can it be executed easily, or does it need special steps for recognition by Indian authorities and courts?
Okay. So, like a will is the last wish of a person. Now, wills in countries in the Western world, in Nairobi, in UK, US, everywhere, is prepared in a very different way, like it has to be as per the norms in India. Now, especially in the metro states, in the cities in India, every will that you're trying to produce or saying that, okay, my father here made a will in Nairobi, as per the will, he's given the assets to, let's say, Isha, sister, so on. Now, I need to get that will probated in the courts there. Now, for that, I will also require the two witnesses who have signed the will to give in their affidavit. Now, that's where it becomes a problem, because here, mostly people create trusts. People make executors of the trust. People create trusts here. People do not specifically define who the beneficiary is going to be.
Got you.
So the way it's, the way it can be interpreted or the way it's defined here, it's very different the way it needs to be in India. So in India, a will has to be simply that I am the so-and-so owner. Let's say Monisha is last, this is my last will. I want that my XYZ assets need to go to ABC.
Okay.
Right? It has to be. And then there have to be 2 witnesses. Now, tomorrow, if those beneficiaries or the executor has to get the will executed, he needs the 2 witnesses to walk in with him, or at least one of them to step into the witness. Because let's say if the property becomes expensive, or there's a dispute between the beneficiaries, or if you're cutting this line of succession, then you certainly need the witnesses to step in, and that's how the will be proved.
Okay, got you. So if a member of the diaspora passes away without leaving a will, okay, what is the procedure for heirs living abroad, for lack of a better word, an heir living abroad to claim that property or assets in India? Because if I know Indians, and I do, we love a good family property dispute. And when there's no will and there's no, recognition for that, how do we go about the assets in India?
Well, you know what? It's becoming generational now, the disputes. But any which ways, yes. So, it's. I always tell people that a will is a house of dispute. A will does not clear. It does not give clarity, because here, in fact, in Nairobi also, it's a similar situation with wills. But then in UK or other countries, when a person makes a will, he's very sorted that his lawyer is going to take care of everything. In India, it is not so. 2 other heirs will come in and saying that why haven't I got the share? It should be my property. It's ancestral property.
मुझे भी चाहिए.
मुझे भी चाहिए. मेरा भी हक है.
मेरा भी हक है इस property के ऊपर.
So, अगर किसी को करना है while they are living, they should give it to whomsoever they want to. They transfer. There are a lot of ways to do it, so that the parents don't feel that jo unke saath wo, I think, who's that Singhania guy, what happened to him, it should happen to them. But then there's a lot of ways to do that, but that is how it should be covered, instead of leaving a will and then their children and their grandchildren are fighting for it forever.
Yeah, okay. So from your experience working with families of Indian origin in Nairobi, specifically in Nairobi, what are some of the most common issues they face with their properties or inheritance in India?
Wills, number 1.
Yeah.
Secondly, lack of knowledge of the Indian succession system, that everybody feels that if the husband has died, the wife becomes the automatic owner, which is untrue. And thirdly, the banking and financial transactions which has been lying in their accounts from the 1980s, 1990s. They don't know how to get out of it. And because they cannot get OCIs now, that it becomes more difficult.
Okay, so from your experience, that is the issue that people in Nairobi mostly face. Are there any underlying issues that you think people need awareness on in Nairobi?
Like I said, the wills. I think what people need to understand about wills is, don't make wills if you want to give it to children. Give it to your children while you are living. Transfer in the names, or talk to somebody who can advise you on how to clear it and make it more covered, and there should be no dispute when you're gone. That's one thing. Secondly is the banking issues. Every person who buys a property or creates a bank account, they need to make sure that the names there are correct, because mostly the spell errors and earlier what used to happen is, let's say I have a client, I'm working for him, his name is Paul Singh, right? In most of his accounts, his name is Pal Singh.
Oh God.
And now how do I get that corrected?
That
because
is
there's
true.
But any which way. So, all these things are a very big issue. So name correction has to be there, and always have a nominee or a second account holder in your account, so that it becomes easier for them to sort it out. And PAN cards are a must for people who are investing in India in form of properties or have bank accounts. PAN cards, bank accounts, OCIs.
Oh my God. And the list is just going on and on and on.
And that's it. And have a good legal advisor.
And Monisha Mahajan is here to make our lives much easier, especially if you are an NRI. So stick around for the rest of the hour as we dive deeper into property disputes, representation without travel, as well as some closing advice from our lovely guest today. In the meantime, here's AP Tillon with Insane.
Hear the hits. Watch the hits.
We play the hits.
Hit music all day.
Like this.
I am what I say, you're psycho.
Your number 1 hit music station.
We are Radio 44. Your music, your life.
And that is ABBA with Dancing Queen, playing for you on Radio 44, 100.8 FM. And speaking of queens, I have the Queen of NRI assistants right here in the Radio 44 studios. I have Monisha Mahajan in conversation with me. Monisha, welcome once again. For the third time, welcome to Radio 44.
Thank you. And just before we are queens, we are also princess. Or every girl is a princess, right?
Princess treatment or nothing else. I don't want anything apart from princess treatment for the rest of my...
Every girl is a princess to her dad.
That is true. We were actually talking about this and we spoke about it. But we are moving away from obviously us being our daddy's little princesses and into the women of a generation that are taking power over things that not many people understand. One of them being legal help for NRIs, right? We hear many cases where tenants or even relatives in India refuse to vacate NRI-owned properties. How does Legal Help NRI handle such situations on behalf of families living abroad?
So, Isha, like the other issues we discussed, this is also very common because people who have not lived in their country, like in India, and have left property to relatives or friends or tenants, it's something, I don't know what it is, even probably it's very Indian that we get attached to where we live,
100%.
right? Like, and if you see here in Nairobi, people will be living in that house for 30, 40, 50 years together.
I have lived in our house for, I think, since I can even remember.
So yeah, it's the thing that it's a family home, and that's what happens to people who are living in India, that there's a sense of entitlement or belongingness that this property belongs to us and then we don't want to leave. It's very good.
Of course.
And then it becomes a struggle for people who are now here and, everybody wants to dispose of the assets. They don't want to leave behind a dispute with their children or anything, or they need the money, the liquidity, so that they can invest in their country of residence. Mm-hmm. Now, that's where it becomes a problem that those people refuse to vacate and it becomes difficult to sell. Now, we as legal experts, either we try settling it with the people who are living in there to vacate the property, or we get into a dispute, make a strategy in a way that we can control it and we can fight it out in a shorter span of time. Getting them property back can take, but minimum, I also have to say, because people, suddenly the hopes will rise higher than saying that will happen in a jiffy. It doesn't happen in a jiffy. It takes about a year, 2 years, but something which has been on for 30 years, 25 years, 40 years. It's not very easy to get people out immediately.
But let me tell you something about Kenyans. We are very patient with the legal system, so don't worry. Time is all we have.
I think, I understand, and that's what, Kenya is a place like that, and people are very patient. But I also have, there are some people who are old, if you understand, probably you're very young, and for you, age is on your side. For people I deal with, they're all senior citizens, all above the age of 75 plus. So all they want is that, during their lifetime, they see light at the end of the dark tunnel.
Of course.
Yes, so that.
Now, one of your key services is representing clients without them having to travel to India, right? How does that actually work in practice? Can NRIs really resolve inheritance, property, or court cases without even setting foot into India?
Absolutely, Isha, and I think it's kind of a myth, because also there is a lot of mistrust in people who are living here, that when their relative, their friends, their brothers or somebody has done this to them, how can they just trust somebody there? So it's the mindset that they wish to travel to India every 3 months or 6 months or once a year to understand what's happening in the case.
Yeah.
But literally, their representation is not really needed in the dispute going on, because it's the lawyer fighting it for them, or their representative, whoever it is. They don't need to. And I've been blessed, or I have clients who've not ever traveled to India. We sold off their properties, their issues have been resolved without actually them having to travel to India, or even probably seeing me face to face. Sometimes it's just on the internet. But then it's been I think that's the trust, and people, that's the belief they have sometimes. And it takes time, I wouldn't deny, because not that Nairobi is a very easy country. Here again, trusting people is not easy, and especially when it's Indians, it's not very easy to trust anyone there, because you feel that if you could be cheated by your brother, who's the third party?
Exactly. And I feel like that mistrust is one of the key reasons why a person like yourself is very important in a process like this. Legal Help NRI, the company itself, you as an individual, as a lawyer, your expertise is what probably creates more trust in this field.
And you don't have to trust me 100%. Just follow the advice at least, but at least take the advice, follow it, understand. everything does not have to be wrong that we are telling you. Sometimes the advice given is the advice which is going to be useful forever and for your generations to come. So now that I am here, please make use of this trip here.
Trust me, she is, from what she has been saying, honestly, very knowledgeable, I would say.
Thank you.
Amazing. Definitely an inspiration as a younger lady as well. You're very knowledgeable. But what message would you like to give to the Indian diaspora in Nairobi about safeguarding their property and legal rights in India, whilst also, shamelessly kind of flexing your expertise here in Nairobi at the moment?
So, there is so much advice that I can give, but considering what is happening with people, the Indian diaspora across the globe, it's not just Nairobi.
Yeah.
So all I tell people is, while especially the senior citizens or the second, third, fourth generation, the younger generation who's going to inherit that disputes, that try resolving it while your parents are alive. Try getting your paperwork in place while everything can be done. India is not that easy as it used to be, 10 years earlier. We're becoming very stringent on taxation, on documentation and everything. So get your documentation in place for your property, for your banks, your OCIs in place. And please, before going ahead within the courts or just going ahead with any kind of a land situation, do take legal advice. Do not just do it because your friends or families are asking you to do it. You have to understand a real estate dealer could not even be, matriculate. Like, he's not even done his 10th. And then you go take advice from somebody who's, absolutely uneducated or illiterate. Why not, when you're selling a property, take advice from a lawyer?
Exactly.
While what you do here, like, you always have a realtor here, right, or a real estate lawyer in this country or any other country. So do that. Even if you're doing lease agreements, your taxation, use professionals for that and not just family and friends.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Monisha. You've honestly been such a knowledgeable and radiant guest today. You've actually made my evening. I'm not going to lie. The conversations we've been having outside of the radio show itself deserve podcasts. I think our podcast really. Thank you so much for joining us here at Radio 44. And we look forward to accessing Legal Help NRI. And if you are someone who needs help, please do not fear and do not fret from asking Monisha for that help. Look up Legal Help NRI, look up Monisha Mahajan, and she'll be at your service right here in Nairobi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.